Hello and welcome to another video. In this video, I will be sharing a reading vlog from when I read Alice's Adventures in Wonderland by Lewis Carroll. This is the book for my book club over on Patreon. I decided to film this vlog a little differently than I have with my other videos. I typically will film a sort of casual intro at the beginning of my vlogs and then a separate outro towards the end so that everything falls in sequential order. But this time I thought, let me try something different and film the intro and outro the week that I'm releasing the video. And I'm realizing that that may have been a tiny mistake, but we're gonna roll with it and hopefully this video doesn't feel too chaotic, although I suppose considering the book that I'm reading, it's actually quite fitting. So if you're new here, welcome. My name is Erin. I am a content creator, writer, and photography hobbyist. I am so glad to have you visiting my channel today. And without further ado, let's jump back into last week and start the reading vlog. So I have gotten to, let's see what chapter 7 in the first book, Alice's Adventures in Wonderland, which puts me about halfway through the first book. So I'm going to pause here for tonight. I probably would have read a little bit more today had I not gotten distracted by the solar eclipse this afternoon, which was a bit of an anticlimax, but that's okay. I'm glad that I, was prepared to observe it. It didn't seem like it got very dark. It just sort of felt similar to when a storm rolls in. But as far as the book, I am really enjoying it. I was thinking about it earlier today, and the last time that I believe I read this book was probably 10 years ago. And I was realizing, in the chapters that I read today, that there are quite a number of characters that I had forgotten about that aren't typically included in some of the film adaptations. So it's been really nice reading this book, and I forgot how much Alice talks to herself, and it just reminds me so much of myself when I was a kid and I was just constantly talking to myself. And I still talk to myself. I just will sometimes keep it inside, not verbalize it out loud. But yeah, it's really, really good. And I'm just reminded why this is my favorite book of all time. And it's just been very delightful. And it's so wacky and absurd and whimsical all at once. So I think I'll pause here for tonight and see how much I'm able to read tomorrow. Good afternoon. It is 1:45. It's much later than it was when I filmed the last clip. It has been a little bit of a busier morning than I had anticipated, and I haven't had a chance to read today yet. The things that I had to get done this morning required my full concentration, so I couldn't read at the same time. I have a little bit of time before I have to go take our car to get the oil changed. So I'm making another cup of tea because I'm feeling really tired today. The rainy weather has left me feeling very sleepy. So it's a 2 cups of tea kind of day. And I'm gonna have my cup of tea and I'm gonna go curl up in bed for just a little bit and try to read a little bit more of Alice's Adventures in Wonderland before I have to go. Chapter The Mock Turtle Story, and I just had a laugh out loud moment because there was a pun. The master was an old turtle. We used to call him Tortoise. Why did you call him Tortoise if he wasn't one? Alice asked. We called him Tortoise because he taught us, said the Mock Turtle angrily. I seriously, I appreciate a good pun. Good evening. We have finished our dinner and I finally had a moment to sit down and share some of my thoughts of what I've read today. While I was waiting on our oil to be changed, I actually finished the first book, Alice's Adventures in Wonderland. And so now I just have Through the Looking-Glass to read. As far as what I read today, I really enjoyed the latter half of Alice's Adventures in Wonderland. The nonsense level just really increases. And as it increases, it starts to drive Alice a little bit crazy, or at least that's how I interpreted some of her inner thoughts and some of the things that she says out loud to some of the other characters. And I feel like she, by the end, is just like, okay, I'm ready for things to be kind of back to normal, back to just like balanced and not so topsy-turvy. I found that really interesting, and at first we see Alice feeling bored with just a regular afternoon, and she ends up going into Wonderland and is very fascinated by all of the wackiness and the curiosities of Wonderland. But by the end, she's just very tired of it all and is ready to return to home and normality. I'm really looking forward to reading Through the Looking-Glass. I am tempted to stay up late and finish the whole book, but we'll see, because I still have, about half of this volume to go, and I don't want to rush through it. And welcome back to the future. I ended up reading the first 2 chapters of Through the Looking-Glass towards the end of last week, and I haven't had a chance to continue reading Through the Looking-Glass this week so far, but I intend to finish the book up this weekend and be done with the full volume of both Alice's Adventures in Wonderland and Through the Looking-Glass. Overall, I have really loved this rereading experience. I realized that the film adaptations and the original text have very much blended in my memory over time, because as I was reading through the story, I was often surprised when certain events were slightly out of order from how I had remembered them. But it just goes to show just how influential this story is, that there are so many adaptations of it. And it's just a lasting story, and one that I really, really love. Since starting the first 2 chapters in Through the Looking-Glass, have really been intrigued by it, and I'm wondering if I'm going to appreciate the sequel more as an adult, because prior to this rereading, I've only read Through the Looking-Glass one time, and I just don't remember it as distinctly as I do Alice's Adventures in Wonderland. So I will keep you updated over on my Instagram once I do finish this full volume. Thank you so much for watching this video. I really hope you enjoyed it. I hope it wasn't too chaotic, and it was just the right amount to fit the vibe of this book. And I would like to give a special thank you to my patrons who support my work here and my creative work across the internet. Without your support, I wouldn't be able to create videos like this and experiment filming out of order. So thank you so much, and I just deeply appreciate you. If you are interested in joining my book club over on Patreon, I not only have the book club, but I also have bonus content and an exclusive audio series that I write and produce myself. So I will leave a link in the description if you are curious about it. And until next time, I hope you have a lovely and cozy book to curl up with. Bye-bye.